Well, let's continue to talk about the Syrian crisis and its implication. For more, we are joined by our correspondent Kate Parkinson in Beirut, Lebanon. Well, Kate, how has the Middle East region, the countries surrounding Syria, reacting to Western nations' threat of launching a military strike against Syria?
Well, we've heard some very mixed responses from the Middle East region with regards to the likelihood of Western military intervention in Syria. Of course, there are some countries in this part of the world that strongly support the Syrian opposition and others which do not. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, of course, have both been key players in supporting the Syrian rebels from the outset of this conflict. Turkey as well has been one of the loudest critics against the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, and Turkey has in fact said that it would be willing to be part of a Western coalition for military intervention in Syria. Other countries slightly more cautious. Jordan, for example, has said that it will not be willing to be used as a launch pad for anticipated attacks. There had been speculation that it could be a potential base used to launch strikes upon Syria, but Jordan has said that it doesn't want to play that role, citing concerns of repercussions against the country. Amman has long supported a political solution to the Syrian crisis. Also here in Lebanon, very mixed reactions. Of course, Lebanon is deeply divided over the Syrian conflict. On the one hand, you have supporters of the opposition. In fact, Sunni fighters from Lebanon have crossed the border to join the rebel ranks. But then on the other side, you have those who support the Syrian government, and the Lebanese Shia political and militant group Hezbollah has also sent fighters across the border, but they are fighting alongside the Syrian army. So very mixed reactions across the region, but certainly the response that we're hearing here in Lebanon is one of fear that whatever happens, Lebanon is going to be dragged deeper into Syria's crisis and could see more spillover violence, which is something no one in Lebanon wants to see.
Of course, one of the spillover effects will be a humanitarian crisis. We know that Lebanon has more Syrian refugees than any other countries in that part of the world. If the Western countries decided to strike Syria, well, probably refugee problem will be more grave.
That is another concern. As you say, Lebanon hosts more Syrian refugees than any other country. The official number from the United Nations is around 700,000, but they are just the ones who've registered with the UN. Unofficially, it's thought that the number is closer to 1 million. For a country of 4 million people, that's 1/5 of the population here in Lebanon is currently a Syrian refugee, and that's putting a huge strain on Lebanon. And yes, there is concern that as the Syrian conflict escalates, as it is expected to do so with these threats of Western military intervention, there is a concern that there will be more refugees fleeing Syria and coming into Lebanon. Now, at the moment, that doesn't appear to be happening. The United Nations have a representative up on the border at the Masna border crossing, which is the official border crossing closest to Damascus. They say that the refugee traffic is high, but it's always high, and they're saying they haven't seen any abnormal activity, any influx of refugees as a result of this increasing likelihood of Western military intervention. But there is a concern that more refugees may come, and yes, that will put a strain on a country already struggling to host this estimated 1 million refugees that are already here.
Well, obviously the threat is there. Thank you, Kate. We'll keep looking at this region under the threat of war, and more destructions maybe is on the horizon.